Have you ever wondered why some people just seem to get so much more stuff done in the same period of time? I remember back in high school, I remember those years being one of the most productive years of my life because I was so disciplined and I had so many different things planned. I had my school that I would go to, and then I would have all of these extracurricular activities. Like twice a week I had my sports, then twice a week I had some kind of either French or English classes, and then I was also participating in an international charity organization, and then I was also the president of student council. So I had a lot of things going on, and I remember this feeling of having a lot of things going on and also being able to get a lot of the things done. And I remember this conversation that I had with a classmate of mine at the time, and she said, yeah, I didn't get a chance to do the homework last night, I just didn't have time. And I knew, because I knew my classmate, I knew that she didn't have any extracurricular activities, so literally she would go after school, she would just go home. And I was wondering and I asked her, how come you didn't have time? What did you do instead? Did something happen, etc.? And then she said, no, not really, just time has flown by. And I remember being shocked by that statement because on the same day I had those extracurricular classes that I mentioned, and then I came home, rested, did my homework, did some activities for the student council, went to bed, woke up, and still got my assignment done. And I was wondering, how is it possible that she has not done it and I've done it, given that I had so many more other things that I had to attend on that day, and it was boggling my mind. And then I also had less productive periods in my life, and it does fluctuate, where I was getting way less things done. And I realized, when I was also facing those situations where I was way less productive, that it's not that I had less time, I was just doing less with the time that I had. Okay, this might sound simple, but just listen to it again. It's not that we have less time, we just do less with the time that we have. And if you think about it, the time, everyone has exactly the same time on this planet. Everyone has 24 hours in a day. Everyone. You can think of any person you admire, any person you know. If we're talking about equality, everyone is equal here. Everyone gets 24 hours in a day, and life is brutal like that. We just get 24 hours in a day and we cannot get more. So then I realized that it's not that any one of us at any point of time we have less time. It just depends how we decide to spend our time that matters the most. And if you're listening to this episode, probably you are quite an ambitious person and you're already thinking, how can I get more out of my time? How can I make sure that that time matters? How can I actually invest it properly so that I bring my dream life closer to reality? And something that I learned also from my personal experience, and I really would not want you to repeat my mistakes, was whenever I felt really not productive, like I'm not getting anything done, I would then rush to create this schedule, very intense schedule, and I would put so many things there so that I would get this feeling of being productive and having lots of things happening and moving close to my dream life. But the problem was that it was never sustainable. I would actually do that for some time, sometimes weeks, months, but then eventually I would go back to the less productive stage. And the only way that I actually managed to persevere and have some activities stuck and actually do them continuously and doing them up to this day was to add only one thing. So for example, I'm so happy that I'm doing this challenge where I'm releasing a podcast episode a day, because if you think about it, in 365 days from now, I would have released 365 episodes. So then the time would have passed, this year would pass anyways, and then in the time I would have added 365 episodes to the library of LifewithLiza podcast. But that's just one thing that I've added to my schedule that I'm doing at this moment. I did not add many things because I knew already from my past experience, if I were to add lots of things, I would definitely fail at some of them and would feel bad about myself. Whereas adding one thing at a time is very productive because you do move in the right direction, and other habits and other activities can be also added eventually, gradually over time. So for example, in 2020, I had a goal of, I think it was 2021 actually, I had a goal of doing 265 workouts in a year. So basically doing 5 days a week doing the workout. And if you think about it, in that year, I've added to my, that year passed, 2021 passed, and I have done 265 workouts. So that's what I've accomplished in that year. You see, the time that this 2023-2024 will pass and I would have added 365 episodes to something that I have done. And just doing it gradually is so powerful because it actually helps you to be more productive, moves you in the right direction, helps you build the right habits at the same time without overwhelming you and making it more sustainable. And the reason why I mentioned the year 2021 and when I was doing my workout challenge was because I'm still working out. I built that habit now. So now it doesn't feel overwhelming and I still do those workouts. But now the challenge is to continuously release the podcast episodes and build that library of Life with Liza podcast. Do you see my point? Do you get it? Do you see where I'm getting at? I really want you to think about something that you could start doing with your life that would move it closer to your dream life, will have a big impact, and that's something that you would like to build a habit of if you haven't already. Just think about it, because time will pass regardless. So what can you do on a day-to-day basis to gradually stack it up for you as well so that you are moving in the right direction? For me, at this period of my time, releasing lots of podcast episodes, releasing a podcast episode a day is something that's moving me in the direction that I want to go. Okay? I hope you enjoyed this episode and I love you so much. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for listening in. And I see you tomorrow in the next episode.